All right, gentlemen, straight to our next conversation. The Ijaye farm settlement, which was once a symbol of agric progress, is now under threat due to insecurity, putting farmers' productivity and lives at risk. Residents allege that herders frequently invade their farms, allowing cattle to graze on crops and destroy years of work. Some also reported threats to personal safety, including near assaults. Farmers in the community are calling for government's intervention to stem the tide of the invasions. Now let's share this story by TVC News' Olaide Oyewole, who visited the community with you.
Established in 1952, the Ijaye farm settlement spans over 3,000 hectares of land. It was part of the government's post-independence agricultural policy aimed at boosting employment and ensuring a steady supply of food. Decades later, what was once a thriving settlement for farmers who depend on the land for their livelihood is now under threat, as residents and farmers allege that herders routinely invade their farms, allowing cattle to graze freely on their crops, destroying their hard work and investment.
It has been a harrowing experience, both involving huge financial losses and mental agony. It started in the year 2022. But of recent, last year they destroyed all my crops, maize, cassava. The photographs are here. So this year again, they started. That is the reason why I have not been able to go home because of my farm crops.
We visited some of the farms located several kilometers away from the main settlement. And to our surprise, we sighted some herders who quickly fled with their cattle upon seeing us.
This place you see is a farmer's farm. He planted teak. Teak is another source of revenue for the farmer. And as you see it now, they indirectly drove that man away from the farm. You could see, they've overtaken all the area. The man, whenever he comes, he will not be able to stay. They will not allow him to farm. Everything he planted has been consumed. When you look at back here, you see that cassava you are seeing there. That is how all the area supposed to be. They ate it all. That is the kind of destructions the farmers are facing. And it's very, very unbecoming.
The affected communities include Tafa, Kumbi, and the main camp settlement. Residents say that despite several reports and actions taken by the Oyo State Rule of Law Enforcement team responsible for penalizing open grazing, no tangible result has been achieved so far.
With the rule of law and with the backing of the Amotekun operatives, they have also been very helpful, even though they lack the power to prosecute, but they've been able to help with the clearance operation. Anytime we carry out this clearance operation, the cows are removed from the settlement by the herders, only to come back the following day. We have expended all our financial capability, and all they keep saying is that they are going to use their connection with the security agencies and their financial power to outmuscle us, and eventually we have to leave the farm settlement for us.
One of the women in the community alleged that she narrowly escaped being raped by a herder, describing her survival as an act of divine intervention. For now, the farmers in Ijaye and neighboring communities can only hope that government intervention will come swiftly to end the persistent attacks, protect their farmlands, and restore their sense of safety. Olaide Oyewole, TVC News, Ijaye, Oyo State.
Really, really sad situation. I mean, the community claims that despite the multiple reports to the Oyo State Rule of Enforcement team, little has changed. I mean, Biko, what else can be done to address this matter?
And you know, the unfortunate thing is that this range of attacks on farmlands has been known for years. Farmers in these areas have been coping with the pains that come with seeing a whole year's hard work destroyed by open grazing on their farmlands by criminal herdsmen. I was investigating some of those attacks, and in 2019, Oyo farmers lost 155 acres of cassava, yam, corn, and cucumber to invasion by herdsmen in the year 2019. In August 2020, the farmers lamented that incessant attacks by herdsmen and rape of minors was prevalent in their communities. In September 2025, farmers in Ilora, Afigio LG, cried out over invasion and destruction of farms by herdsmen. In 2021, in Oke-Ogun, Oyo State, herdsmen massacred more than 50 persons and burned farmland, houses, and cars. Ideally, there should not be open grazing in any part of our country. But government has not been decisive enough. There shouldn't be open grazing. Is in my view, not what we should be doing in the 21st century. Localize
ranch?
These people in ranches. I remember the ranch that the Kano State government created in Dansosia. The farmers told me when I went there that, I mean, the herders told me that they liked it there. Their women don't have to go out looking for where to sell their milk.
Okay.
Even right there in the ranch. What do they call them? Those doctors who look after veterinary doctors. They were always there. Water, which is what pastoralists do not take lightly, readily available. There was a little dam within the ranch. So ranching will naturally make life a lot easier for you, you know, as a herder, because you don't have to walk. Even the threat of cattle rustling is taken away. So government has to decide that, look, we've had enough. If you go to even Kogi State, it's the same story. You are watching your farm being overrun by cattle, eating your crops. You cannot do anything. Sometimes when you try to stand up to them, you get fired. People don't want to lose their lives. So farmers are suffering because of the activities of these people. And that's why, in my view, every state should criminalize open grazing. Let's adopt the modern methods. If we adopt the modern methods, even make production will go up.
Exactly.
Because cattle that has been roaming around for hours, how much milk will it produce for you? So we need to embrace global best practices. Okay. How are those farmers in Holland? How are those farmers in Florida? And how are they getting by? Nobody is roaming cattle recklessly and allowing them to feed on people's crops. It's not done.
Okay.
Let's finally find a way to solve this farmer herder crisis.
Now, looking at this community, what kind of support do you think the community needs now? More security, you know, maybe fencing or conflict resolution? What kind of support do you think this community
I think
needs?
first thing first, the government has to deploy security as a matter of urgency. I'm aware that in 2021, the Southwest governors held a meeting in Akure. The meeting was hosted by the late governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu. And it was a meeting between the Southwest governors, the 6 states in the Southwest, and the Mieti Allah cattle breeders. And at that meeting, it was agreed that, 1, they will stop night grazing. 2, they will stop underage grazing. 3, they will also stop this idea of invading farmers, farms to destroy them. I think what the governor should do is just to find a way of activating, because there were penalties that were set out. They themselves were the ones who provided, the penalties that will be meted out of those who, and I recall that there was also this recommendation to adopt the Osun model. And what was the Osun model? They call it a Committee on Peaceful Coexistence between Farmers and Herders. And that is what has helped to reduce drastically this incessant, conflict, between farmers and herders. I think both the state government and the federal government must do something urgently, especially because, this is about food security. And so whatever they do will affect, the ability, of the community.
And that's the food basket of the state.
Exactly.
Exactly. To produce, food in large quantities. So security has to be deployed, because if government does not take action, the people may be forced to take laws into their hands. And
we don't want
that.
We don't want
anarchy, will set in. We don't pray.
All right, gentlemen.
At this point.
Straight to our next conversation.